close to 21 plus years of experience in IT industry. Right now I'm working with Microsoft. Before this I was with Intuit, LinkedIn, Expedia. आपका DSL नहीं भी आता हो तो चलेगा, design नहीं भी आएगा तो चलेगा. And in general, India is much better. If you think about how it's globally placed, it's much better as compared to US or other countries. Definitely we'll need good people. We'll need software engineers. We'll need data engineers. We'll need MLOps people. We'll need AI researchers.
ऐसा कभी हुआ है कि all the coding rounds or the technical rounds for a person were really great, पूरा सब कुछ सही था, but you had a bad feeling and you didn't hire that person because जो hiring manager round था didn't go well?
Sometimes I feel like क्या मतलब ragging हो रहा है क्या? If I have it in my hand, I will give that person a benefit of doubt because I know how corporates work. Sure, if you've done your maths and you know that okay, this is the right move, it's okay to move for money as well. So if you have a right reason, move on.
Okay.
Life is too short to tolerate or bear anything which you don't want.
How much do you give the value to stocks versus the base salary? Hi guys, I'm Shantar. Welcome back to the channel. तो आज की वीडियो में हम बात करने वाले हैं ईशा के साथ. She has close to 21 years of experience in IT industry. तो उन्होंने बहुत सारी चीज़ें देखी हैं. उन्होंने 2 रिसेशंस देखे हुए हैं. सो रिसेशन के बारे में, हायरिंग के बारे में. She is currently working as a group principal engineering manager. So it is quite high of a role. She also like hires a lot of people. तो hiring manager का भी role play करते हैं. Mostly M2 जो होते हैं, she is an M2. तो बहुत सारी चीज़ों के बारे में डिस्कस किया हुआ है कि अगर स्टॉक्स या बेस मिल रहा होता है तो किसमें आपको ज़्यादा मैक्सिमाइज करना चाहिए, कैसे कर सकते हो. इसके अलावा जब हायरिंग कर रहे होते हैं तो किन चीज़ों पे ध्यान देते हैं, रेज्यूमे देखते हैं नहीं देखते हैं हायरिंग मैनेजर्स, एंड बहुत सारी चीज़ें. सो वीडियो को लाइक ज़रूर कर देना, कमेंट करके बताना तुम्हें और किस इंडस्ट्री या फिर किस का पॉडकास्ट देखना है इस चैनल पे. आई विल ट्राई टू ब्रिंग देम ऑन दिस चैनल. एंड जल्दी से वीडियो को स्टार्ट कर देते हैं. उससे पहले बस एक इंपॉर्टेंट इन्फॉर्मेशन. AlgoPrep X हमने लॉन्च किया था कुछ दिन पहले. काफ़ी क्रेजी रिस्पॉन्स था. हमने 500 लोगों के लिए अर्ली बर्ड कूपन कोड अनेबल किया था. सो 500 लोग ऑलरेडी एनरोल कर चुके हैं इसमें, उससे ज़्यादा. सो वो हमने डिसकंटिन्यू करना पड़ा. नाउ यू हैव फ्रीडम कोड. इट वाज ओनली एप्लीकेबल टिल 15th of August, but we have extended it till 18th of August. You can go enroll in AlgoPrep X. But all do you get? You get everything that you need to crack any company. तुम्हें LLD मिलता है, DSA मिलता है, डेवलपमेंट मिलता है. इसके अलावा तुम्हें OSDB में सूप्स मिलता है. इसके अलावा तुम्हें AI प्रेप एक है जिसमें हमने प्रॉम्प्ट इंजीनियरिंग सिखाई है, वो मिलती है. एंड भाई जो तुम्हें चाहिए सारी चीज़ें मिल जाती हैं यहीं पे. अभी फ्रंट एंड कंप्लीटेड है, तुम्हारा बैक एंड ऐड हो जाएगा बाय द एंड ऑफ योर सितंबर. तुम जाके एनरोल कर सकते हो. जल्दी से अपनी वीडियो को स्टार्ट कर देते हैं. सो हाय ईशा, हाउ आर यू?
I'm good. How are you?
कैन यू प्लीज इंट्रोड्यूस योरसेल्फ so that people know?
I think I have introduced myself so many times on podcast. I don't know if people already know or not, but then I carry close to 21 plus years of experience in IT industry. Right now I'm working with Microsoft. Before this I was with Intuit, LinkedIn, Expedia. So those kind of companies I have been working with. I'm majorly working into data and AI domain right now.
Okay.
In terms of tech stack, it's data and AI. Prior to that, when I started, it was more on software engineering side, microservices, web services, mainframes, all that I have worked in when I started. But right now, it's more on data and AI side.
Got it. So, for example, if you are hiring 2 candidates, A and B, how important is a resume and a LinkedIn profile for that particular role? So, do hiring managers directly check the resume before the interview process starts, or बस HR ही वो वाला पूरा process करते हैं and then?
And definitely, we have to check. Sometimes, if you have back-to-back meetings, you won't get time for that. Right. And then, in that case, I prefer spending 1 minute just before the interview, or I tell the candidate, I apologize and I tell them that okay, I need 1 minute, and then we go through the profile together sometimes.
Okay.
But definitely, you have to understand the person. Otherwise, you can't interview. If I don't know what's the if for example I'm interviewing Nisha and then I don't know whether you are good in React versus C++ versus C#, how would I interview you, right? Or I don't know whether you are strong in data or you are strong in software engineering side, right? Or what is, because from your resume, I can gauge a lot, right? What kind of person you are, what kind of things you have explored in your career. Are you a risk taker or not, right? As a hiring manager, I don't have to go deeper into the tech part, right, because all those rounds are generally
already done,
right? But then I have to focus more on your personality, more on your attitude, more on what you want to achieve in your career, right? So all that I can gauge from your resume before you speak.
Right.
So for me, it's very important to look at your resume and the LinkedIn profile.
Makes sense. So आप अभी काफ़ी टाइम से हायरिंग भी कर रहे होगे, being an principal engineering manager, right?
So, what do you exactly look for a candidate? Like, what skills do you look for a candidate when you are hiring?
Two things I look for. बहुत लंबी लिस्ट है वैसे, बट दो चीज़ें जो बहुत ज़रूरी होती हैं, दैट इज दे शुड बी अ लर्निंग माइंडसेट, a growth mindset definitely should be there, and the person should be having the can do attitude. I can do it. So if you have these two things, तो उसके बाद आपका DSA नहीं भी आता हो तो चलेगा, डिज़ाइन नहीं भी आएगा तो चलेगा, उतना हम सिखा देंगे.
Okay.
उसमें थोड़ा बहुत कमी होता है तो we can manage, but the person should be willing to learn. The person should be willing to grow. Okay?
Got it.
I want to grow in my career. I want to do this in my life. I want to create this impact, and I can do this.
Okay.
वो attitude होना चाहिए,
Makes sense.
mindset रहना चाहिए वैसा कि I want to do this in my life.
Got it. So, आप AI की साइड पे हायरिंग कर रहे हो अभी वैसे? नहीं हो रही. Mostly it's a generic software engineer role, and then you train that person in a different.
If your question is right now, if we are hiring,
No, not right now. In general, like our company is hiring for AI specific roles right now.
हाँ, in general hiring हो रही है.
Okay.
See, in general market is bad right now.
Right.
It's not only about Microsoft or Google or Meta or any other company, right? In general, market is bad, but always there would be some critical roles where people want good people, right? So if you are good in your work, if you have good skill set, if you have that can-do attitude, someone will find you, right?
Makes sense.
तो मार्केट उतना अच्छा नहीं है, बट हायरिंग तो हो ही रही है. AI में हो रही है, डेटा में हो रही है, सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग में हो रही है. यू नेम एनी टेक स्टैक, पीपल लीडर्स वांट गुड पीपल.
So, like, what do you think? How long is this going to take? The ये hiring वाला जो situation, at least 1.5 years से it's been same और थोड़ा ups and downs, कभी बीच में hiring थोड़ी तेज हो जाती है, it's back to normal, then company start laying off people एकदम से. But India में I think थोड़ा सा एक वो है कि कम companies lay off कर रही हैं. But recently I think you also saw that Intuit laid off around 1,700 people. So what should a
That is
person
across the globe.
Yeah,
It is not
total.
only in India.
Right.
And in general, India is much better. If you think about how it's globally placed, it's much better as compared to US or other countries. Hiring, it will take time to get back to the normal pace, right? There was a time when people used to switch very fast, right? And companies also didn't bother that, okay, how your profile looks like, and if you are switching every few months, that's okay, right?
Right.
Now we are not in that phase, but it's just a phase. We'll go through this and we'll get over it. Things will change soon.
But like, how will the AI impact in general? जैसे we have been seeing कि in general काम के time पे भी we are more efficient with AI, right? So will we need less software engineers? Will we need less working professionals after like year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? Not right away, because इतनी जल्दी तो लोग upskill ही नहीं कर पाएंगे, because people have been doing the same thing for a long time. Upskilling also takes time.
I won't say we'll need less software engineers, but I'll say as a leader, I'll hire smarter engineers now, because a lot of things which software engineers used to do, that can be done by AI now, right? So I won't go for someone who is a normal kind of a candidate, right? I would go, I'll raise my bar. So definitely we'll need good people. We'll need software engineers, we'll need data engineers, we'll need MLOps people, we'll need AI researchers, but the bar would be raised.
We got it. So
and the people should be comfortable leveraging AI for their good, right? They should not be uncomfortable with this change, right? They should be welcoming it. I use ChatGPT every day.
Sure.
in my whole day, I use it at least 7-8 times, right? And not only ChatGPT, I try to leverage Gemini as well. Whatever comes, I try to explore what is coming, because it's very important to upskill yourself, right? It's not only about how you'll build with AI, but also how you'll leverage AI for your better workflow, optimizing your day. So I personally feel, and I tell all my mentees, leverage AI. Don't be scared of it.
Right.
Leverage it. If you are using GitHub Copilot, right? If you are hearing about it, don't get scared of it.
Right.
Use it. How you can use it to deliver the code in 4 hours rather than 8 hours, right? So it should help you. Treat it as your servant.
Makes sense.
Don't make it your boss.
सही है. So जब भी when you're learning anything new, it's easier with AI tools. आप आराम से जल्दी सीख सकते हो. कुछ आपको पहले multiple, अगर 10 tabs 10 websites पे check करना पड़ता था, now you can just try to search that on 2 websites.
हाँ.
दोनों पे कर लो, ChatGPT पे कर लिया, Gemini पे कर लिया, Bing पे कर लिया, and you can get like concise answers. And उसके बाद you can just recheck कि सही है कि नहीं
quick
है.
summary. You can also decide whether you really want to invest in this topic or not.
हाँ.
Is it worth spending your time further or not? So
Got it.
it makes life easy.
Right. So एक ऐसे random question है कि ऐसा कभी हुआ है कि all the coding rounds or the technical rounds for a person were really great, पूरा सब कुछ सही था, but you had a bad feeling and you didn't hire that person because जो hiring manager round thought didn't go well. Does that happen a lot?
A lot of times. That happens very frequently actually. Because see, the rounds which we do earlier, right? Your data structures, or
HLD, LLD.
yeah, design rounds, right? That is more about how good you are technically. But how are you as a person, whether you're a team player or not, that part you can't gauge.
Right.
Even if you want to gauge, you don't have time in those interviews, right? But then it's very important for me, if I'm building a team, it's very important to see if the person has team spirit or not.
Makes sense.
How that person will go along with the team members. Will that person be offering offering a hand to help, or whether it would be more on a criticizing side? If I have to choose between two people, one is one is excellent in technical but not that good as a team player, and another one is not that excellent but good enough, but then excellent team player, I would go with the second person.
Makes sense. Because I feel that most of the companies are training leaders to lead after a few years. So they want to invest in that particular person for a longer period of time, right? So that person can lead after, if
It's
they're
not
hiring.
about leading. Even if that person is not leading after years, even let's say today Nishant chooses to be an IC forever in his life,
right.
that's okay. But then still you must be a good team player.
But even then, I feel even if a person is choosing the principal engineer, senior software engineer wala path, still they have to lead in some way because they are the one making technical decisions. They are the one who are leading the meetings.
Yes.
So they should have
So one part, you're absolutely right. One part is having those leading
leadership qualities.
skill sets. But the second part is still, even if you don't want to lead. For example, after a senior software engineer, I'm saying that, no, I don't want to grow after this. I'm happy here. I want to stay here. As far as I'm doing good, I'm okay with this role. But then still you have to work with a team, right? So that team building aptitude, going along with the team, offering your help, understanding their issues, having the empathy, and not criticizing, not pinpointing every moment, right? All that is very important. A lot of times I see when people grow and when they become senior engineers, and then when they talk to interns, when they talk to freshers, university hires, I can clearly see that attitude, right? Sometimes I feel like, kya matlab ragging ho raha hai kya? So if it's in a fun way, it's okay. But if it's not fun, we should appreciate each other. We should appreciate each other's skills. We should appreciate each other as a human being.
Right.
We should appreciate each other's skill sets. And people should in general have empathy for each other. That is very important.
Makes sense. So that is important. Whenever you are doing anything, ये अपने आप आता है. I don't think कि ज़्यादा nurture भी कर सकते हो तुम. ये जो empathy वाली चीज़ है, leadership वाली चीज़ है.
And that's what we have to see in the hiring manager.
Exactly. That you grow with. You can't just fake it एक interview के लिए या फिर engineering में fake नहीं कर सकते.
And I can't train also. I can't assume कि ठीक है बाकी 4 राउंड बहुत अच्छा गया है तो एक ही तो है थोड़ा सा है तो सिखा देंगे. वो नहीं सिखा सकते.
Technical सिखा सकते हैं, नहीं सिखा सकते.
वो आप नहीं सिखा सकते. What kind of human being you are, you have developed yourself. There may be a different reason for that. I don't blame that person. Maybe situations were like that. Maybe the background was that. There may be some context why the person is like that. But at that moment, I really don't have bandwidth to invest and go back and change that background and context and change that person's persona.
Right. So as you grow in your career, you start as an SG1 or you start at any XYZ role. You grow in your career. What are the things you should keep in mind, and how your career trajectory change or your roles change when you grow in any form? Like if you go to the architect wala side or if you go to engineering manager wala side, how your roles and responsibilities change as you grow?
So one thing which always change when you grow in your career path, irrespective of the fact whether you're going in an IC role or leadership role, you would be focusing more on the breadth, right? That will happen automatically. But then the moment you start focusing on the breath, two things will happen. One, you'll lose your grip on the tech.
Right.
So that way you start losing confidence as well. That is one thing. And second, you won't have that sense of accomplishment. When you are at a lower level, right, you have a defined task. You have a Jira, you have to work on that Jira, right? When you grow, you don't have a Jira. You will get very ambiguous requirements. You have to work with PM, you have to work with all the stakeholders, you have to work on the code, but then that may not work, and you have to work on the test strategy to ensure that everything is working out as per the requirement, right? So it's not as easy as I just said, right? So you have to work on the breadth. You'll understand as you grow, but then it's very difficult to maintain that balance, that you still have to go deeper as well. So that is one thing everyone should keep in mind, that when you grow, breadth, definitely you have to make yourself that mature, that okay, you have to work with 20 people in a day. You will have to manage your time, otherwise you won't be able to grow, right? So that is by default. Right. But then one thing people forget is that you still have to go deeper as well. You still have to have that grasp on tech. You still need to know what is happening in the industry, what is ongoing in data, what is ongoing in AI, what is Snowflake doing, what is Databricks doing. You still have to have a hand there. Yeah,
makes sense. Like when you look at a compensation in general, like if you were switching or when you switched, how much do you give the value to stocks versus the base salary? Because लोग generally इसके पीछे बहुत वो करते हैं कि I'm not getting enough base at X company, or that's why I want to switch, or I'm not getting enough stocks. So which one is a better deal, or how one should balance it out?
पहली चीज ये आपके हाथ में है नहीं. आप कितना भी उसमें कैलकुलेशन कर लो, none of the companies is going to change their structure for you.
But there is a upper limit for both, right? अब stocks में भी एक upper limit और lower limit होती है for a particular role. Same is for base.
That's what I'm saying. So you can do your analysis, and you should do, but that won't change anything, right? But coming back to your question, see, what I do generally is when I switch, I look at the company's portfolio.
Okay.
When it was with Microsoft, I was bullish on stock.
Okay.
Whereas when it was with some other company, I was bullish more on my base. I was very clear. You give me more base, don't give me those many stocks.
Makes sense.
When I joined Microsoft, I was very clear. Give me more stocks. Joining bonus, I don't want in money. Don't give me cash. Give me in stocks.
Makes sense.
So you can still do a little bit of negotiation if you know about the stock market, if you know about the portfolio of that particular company, if you know how they have been performing in past. But these things in general are not in your control. You can't negotiate a lot. They won't change their structure for you, right? You'll have to see, you'll have to think, you have to have a different perspective.
Right.
You have to focus on what is in your control, right? What's in your control is you can figure out a job in NVIDIA. You can crack that interview. That is in your control. Right. You can't change NVIDIA's structure, pay structure. Right. If they are saying that, no, we have stopped giving RSUs, you can't help it, right? Or if they say that, no, we'll give everything in stocks, you can't help it.
Yeah.
So that is not in your control. In your control is research about the companies, what kind of structure they have, and what you like. Based on that, prep for that company, clear that interview. You should be designing. That's what I was talking to someone, I think day before yesterday. I was telling her, you invest a lot of software engineers, especially we invest a lot of time in designing system. We don't invest that much time in designing our career. So design your career. Think about your next move. It should not be just because of money. Money will come. Money will come by default. If you're making the right move, you'll get a lot of money. You won't be able to handle that much money. So money is not a problem.
Okay.
People will be after you. Please take money, right? But you have to design your career. You should be knowing what will be my next move. And your next move should be keeping in mind what is your target. Where exactly you want to be after 5 years. What exactly you want to do in your career overall, right? What you want to do after your retirement. Keep all that in mind and then design your career. Okay, this is my next move. This is my next move.
Makes sense. Last question for you. So you have 20-21 years of experience in tech, right? And आपने 2 recessions तो आपने देखे हैं, the 2008-2009 वाला crash you have seen. Now the recession
COVID में हुआ था.
COVID में हुआ तो 3 you have seen, right? So what are some tips for people?
2012 में भी हुआ था.
4 हो गए. So what are the tips that you want to share with people who are graduating or who are just graduated in the last 2-3 years? What should they do? Because the hiring market, as you said in the start, it's not that great, right? Some people are not getting job when they are graduating from college. अच्छे college से भी नहीं हो रही है, and average college से तो हो ही नहीं रही है. तो क्या करना चाहिए?
बहुत सारी चीज़ें कर सकते हैं.
हम्म.
पहली चीज़ ये है कि आपको अपस्किल करते रहना है अपने आप को. यू हैव टू डू दैट. सेकेंड, कुछ तो मोटिवेशन चाहिए लाइफ में, है ना. खाली बैठ के खाली पढ़ाई करके नहीं होगा. तो स्टार्ट डूइंग सम प्रोजेक्ट्स, start getting involved, get some job, whatever job you get. I remember I had a friend who graduated in 2008.
Okay.
That was the time of
Recession, yeah.
all the recession, banking recession, right? Financial institutes. So he grabbed a job where he got, I think, 6,500 per month.
Okay.
He started from that level.
Hmm.
Today he's in a very good company. He's a engineering director. in one of
Okay.
the companies, yeah. So one thing he did right is he grabbed whatever he got. He waited. He actually waited for 6 months, 7 months. He was like, no, this is not my type. This is not my standard. I have done from this college and all that, right? But very soon he realized, that is the good part, that, oh, no, I can't sit idle.
Right.
Because the moment you are idle, one, you'll start losing your skills. You'll start forgetting. Second, you'll start losing your confidence. You'll start having a lot of negative thoughts in your head. And the moment you get an interview call, you won't be able to clear that because all that negativity will come out. You won't be able to control, like you said, right? You can't control these things. You can't fake your attitude. You can't fake your emotions for a long time, right? So all these things will come out, right? So don't be idle. Don't sit idle. Grab any project. Work with any startup if you want. Work with any good company. Whatever opportunity you get, definitely try to get as good as possible. If you get the best deal, it's good. But if you don't get, don't sit idle. That is the second thing. Third thing is, I always tell people, stay positive and focus on what is in your control.
Right.
Layoffs are not in your control. Hiring is not in your control. Job market is not in your control. In your control is read, study, practice, contribute. Build your network. Build a very strong network. Today, if you tell me, if Nishant is my manager, Nishant is telling Nisha, sorry, you are out, I'm not worried about that because in my WhatsApp, I have at least 50 to 55 recruiters whom I'm very closely connected with. It will be just a message,
Right.
right? I'm not saying that I'll get the job next day, but I won't have that stress. I know after some
get
time
the
I'll get it.
opportunity.
It may be a few weeks, it may be a few months, but I'll get it because I have that strong network with hiring managers, with recruiters, with my colleagues. So it's very important to build that network. So if you are not getting a job today, think positively about it. Maybe this is the time you can do something which you won't be able to do otherwise if you're in a job.
Right.
So build a strong network, do something innovative,
Right.
try something new, something you'll be proud of. कि जब recession था, job नहीं लगी थी तो मैंने ये किया था.
Makes sense. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Kafi, like, the last 3 advices were really great. So, if you are watching this, do check out like Isha's LinkedIn profile and Instagram also. You have started Instagram now? Or it's
I'm
just
not
like
getting time. I'll start someday.
So she posts a lot on LinkedIn and you can like follow her definitely. I'll share the link in the description. Thank you so much for taking your time.
Thank you,
काफी मजा
Vinay.
आया.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I
like
also
the video.
enjoyed this conversation.
So see you. Bye bye.
Bye.
थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग दिस वीडियो. डू चेक आउट Algo Prep X. अब मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वाली वीडियो में, तब तक के लिए